Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here with episode 3 of Macross Plus. No longer do I have to say SDF. Um, First up though, we have a comment. Yamizu from the Patreon from Macross Plus episode 2. I find Isamu, is that how you say his name?
Isamu.
Isamu. Highly likable as a character. He is basically Maverick from Top Gun. Womanizing, overconfident, cocky, but also incredibly talented. He got selected he got selected to be a test pilot because he can pull stunts that no one else can. It's that simple. As is shown in the montage where the YF-19 and YF-21 are measured against each other, and all the stats are way higher in the end for Isamu because the pilot can get more out of a standard control system than the mind control system, which in the end is limited. Yeah, I did see
Yeah,
that, but I had a hard time scaling it. I think the image is kind of like slanted sideways,
yeah,
so it's hard to tell which one is actually higher up. Also, we see that board, what, 3 times? Where the YF-21 is higher to begin with, and then the Y-19 grows out.
yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I have my suspicions that both of them were selected for alternate reasons, which we probably will see in this episode.
I don't know, because that puts motive on the commander who had nothing to do with any of this. The I'm
On which
gonna
command?
punt the first one from the pre-opening bit. The I've got to punish you, so I'm getting you a transfer.
Yeah, I mean, it could be basically that he was told, "Hey, I want this guy," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna phrase it in such a way that I don't look like I'm, giving you a gift, basically, right?" It's like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna punish you by getting you out of my. It's the idea that if you have an enemy, have them promoted, right? Kind of situation from the Romans, right? Like, yeah, I want him out of my command. I don't like you. I am not going to tell you that I like you in any way, shape, or form, or that I'm in favor of this. I want you to leave with the impression that you suck, you know, because that's part of the. I mean, it's part of the culture, right? If somebody is superior to you, and they don't really like you because they believe that you are someone who is undisciplined, even if especially if you're being somewhat rewarded, they're gonna say, it's like what happened with Maverick in the original Top Gun, right? Like, oh hey, I, you assholes are gonna go to Top Gun, right? I don't like it. I know you're an a-hole. I don't like you, but there you go. I gotta send you there because the person that was top in selection chicken out had a mental breakdown, so you now get to be,
I mean, it's that phrase: respect the rank, not the person.
exactly.
Um, I don't know. I guess it's just a bunch of difficulty I have in believing that it's all a setup. Obviously, if it turns out to all be a setup, then one, you're a pre-watcher. two, two. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
The fact that
there
Bowman
is some.
comes from the private sector means that that's a
Mhm.
harder thing to rationalize, unless Bowman was already there, and they're like, "Wow, we got the perfect setup for this because we know his backstory."
Well, there is a moment where the colonel, who is in, one with the fake leg, the guy who is one in the
Um,
program,
yeah,
who is now,
Johnson.
yeah, Johnson. After he makes um he makes Isamu angry, and Isamu goes out and punches the door, and he says, "He's so easy to bait." Now that might be that has a preference for the galaxy instead of the other design, or he wants to get more out of him,
I
or
mean, you
something.
heavily implied that he was on the side of the YF-19, which is why.
That 21, which is
No,
the
the YF-21 is the one Bowman's doing with the brain control.
yeah, that's why I think he's in favor of that. Yeah,
Oh no,
I
you
mean,
indicated before that you thought he was in favor of the YF-19, the one that. Sorry, in all of
Isamu
my
is
notes, I've written him. His name is Dyson because
Dyson.
that is
Yes,
his last name or first name. I don't know if they're doing the flip flop thing.
No, I think they're using the English names and they're not flip. They're not putting the patronym in front of it. I mean, I guess if they were speaking, they would say Dyson Isamu. But
Well, I'll be
uh,
honest. It's a lot easier for some reason for me to remember Bowman than Gold. So I've memorized his name as Bowman.
Bowman, yeah.
Whereas Isamu, I know it's easier for me to say, but Dyson is just easy for me to remember. And it does not work for Myung. Is that what we're calling her?
Yeah.
Doesn't work for Myung because her last name is Lone, and that's just a word. So if I say it in a sentence and I don't remember I'm talking about a person, you know?
Uh, I may have misspoke earlier, which it's always a possibility, and there's video of it, so we'll people are like, yeah, no, he said that, and if I said YF19 before, I misspoke. I actually
Well,
thought
you
that he
may
is
have
not.
actually just done a thing where like you indicated to a thing that could have been anything on screen when I was watching at the
Uh,
time and didn't
yeah,
weren't clear, and then I just took it the wrong way. I don't know. It's
that's
probably
also
for
a
the
possibility.
commenters to clear up later.
Yeah. You also had notes, I think.
Oh, I have notes, but I think we should go to the board first, just to have the board up. That when I do the notes, do um, it'll be there. Sorry, I'm trying to reverse
Okay.
engineer. Look, I'm not gonna go one way with humor anymore. I've made a promise about that, so I'm just gonna go back to a 5-year-old humor stance. So anything
No,
you've heard on
that
Muppet Babies before, you'll hear from me now.
that
Yeah,
do that you do so well, I
nah.
guess. Yeah.
But yeah, we got Macross 0 2008, Super Dimension Fortress Macross 2009 2012, and now Macross Plus 2040. And this is the character relationship chart that I came up with off of the last 2 episodes only, with every character I could remember being important, or even just shown, like the manager guy who was on stage with Myung. I'm gonna try and get her real name in my head.
Yeah.
Myung is over here, and he's tied to the 4 people, or the 3 other people, with the Sharon Apple project, including Sharon Apple herself, which still, as far as I know, is Myung, up until she gets the chip from Marge Simpson over here. But you have the childhood friends, which I guess I actually technically could have tied Kate up here with Gold and
Isamu.
I'm going to say Bowman. I like Bowman better as a name. With Bowman and Dyson, because she knew them and she's from the planet, so
I think
they
they're
have a
both
history.
the Morgan and Kate are high school sweethearts. In fact, I think that was the conversation. It's like,
Right.
oh, who you end up with? Oh, I ended up with Morgan. You're like, really, Morgan, right?
Well, she lists the other 2 though. She said
Yeah,
Morgan, Gould, or Isamu. So the idea is that they were all friends, or at least hung out together. Otherwise, it makes no sense to list them. So that's a change I should make or remember to make. Obviously, Gould and Samu are antagonistic. Red line. I'm not 100% sure, and I will go into my thoughts in my notes about this, the relationship between Myung Gold and Osamu. So that's why it's a
uh-huh.
white line for me right now. We'll figure that out later. Lucy and Samu have something going on. It seems more than a fling, especially because they like keep going on dates. So then you have the hacker dude who's trying to steal Sharon. So I should have kind of put some line between them. That's another thing I
Yeah,
forgot to do. And then, of course, the colonel who's in charge of the entire project, so he's attached to everybody on the
yeah.
project and both pilots.
I remember liking Yang or Newman better the first time I seen him, but now that I remember, he's a jackass. I don't like him.
Who?
Newman.
Newman. Oh,
Newman.
sorry. Sorry, I
Newman.
thought you said Myung at first, and then you said Newman. And I'm like, that's not her last name. Who are you talking about?
Well, his first name is Yang.
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 Oh, I said
Yang
Yang. I
Newman.
don't know. I'm getting all
Yeah.
these
Oh
names
wait.
wrong.
Yeah. You probably pronounce it better than I do.
Well, who knows? Literally, that same commenter commenting about how I don't get any names right. That's why I make these boards. You don't think I have these things off on the side when I'm trying to remember a name? Like, I look over real quick? Anyway, any other connections you think I may have missed or got wrong?
Not really, because this one between Myung, Bowman, and Dyson is still up in the air. It's kind of the central thing, so it's well placed. These are, I don't think we're going to see Raymond. We only saw him in the interview, right?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't in the command center where Myung was
I only
being broke
remember
up.
him from the conference, the new reporter
Yes.
conference thing.
So yeah, really, these three is Sharon, Myung, and Marge. Marge. Yeah, he certainly. I mean, this guy probably got punched and kicked in high school, in grade school like crazy.
Look, I
You know,
don't know
just
what your last name is, but my last name was a source of derision among kids to teens, so I'm not going to make fun of anyone for their name.
no, but it sounds like he turned basically he has that evil sneer that says, I am going to revenge myself against the world.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that he is the instigator of all the bad stuff that's going to happen. Like he might not be the bad guy, but he's the reason the bad guy exists. I'm pretty sure. So, nothing else jumping out at you?
No, and also this one doesn't have as many characters as we even Zero had more characters as this. So yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean Zero had one more episode. So,
yeah.
all right. Breaking into my thoughts then. So obviously, I had a real problem with the first episode that kind of threw me off into the second episode, which was the implied. How do you say it?
Essay.
Yeah, I guess. See, that's. See, I didn't know what to say. I was gonna say R word, but I guess essay works too. Which threw me off. But I've had further thoughts about that on reconsideration. So thoughts. First episode thoughts. Dyson, Bowman, and
Young.
Myung. Sorry, I've written down Lone all over the place. So Dyson Bowman and Myung were clearly friends in the first scene, but something I saw incorrectly was that I thought Bowman and Dyson were competing with one another. For some reason, I thought Bowman had his own flying thing and was trying to outdo Dyson, forming that relationship that we have in the future. I didn't pick up the fact that he was pedaling a bike to lift up and launch Dyson's flying machine. Gives a different context of the first scene that I misread and then carried into what I thought their relationship. Like I thought they were childhood friends that competed, and then that grew into adulthood, where in fact Gold was helping Dyson in the first scene.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, images to send you and to activate on the overlay. Just talking as I do it, in case you wanted to see any of that. The planets.
Planet Planet Banapal.
Grab screenshots of the planet readouts and that they threatened to send to Dyson too, in case you were interested in some of the layout of the universe of Macross, as well as the specs of Dyson's test aircraft. So I've got that playing on screen right now, and the overlay is a slideshow. But if you have anything you want to say about any of these,
Macross minus. Okay. And Macross is Macross minus. That's probably not a planet, probably space station or space station orbiting a planet, I guess.
might be a satellite. Like I think that might be the names of the stars on the top, and the planets are the satellites on the bottom. Again, I'm only looking at your screen right now because I don't
Yeah.
have it up right here. Obviously, I just took the screenshot of the guy looking at it from a backwards perspective, flipped it, and put it over here.
Yeah.
Because originally I was going through some of these planets have insane gravities or whatever, and it's like that's probably the star on the top, and then everything else is below it. Because the satellites listed beneath have like relatively Earth-centric gravities and time frames and everything like that, so it makes more sense. It's either that or some of these are gas giants.
Could be. And you're being sent to one of the moons then.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I think I did the math on one of them before I realized that the stats on the top must be something else that everything is rotating around. Because one of them had basically the gravity of Jupiter. And it's like, wait a second, is that a big old ball of gas in the background? Maybe that's just a gas giant. These are all just moons, like literally moons.
Which makes sense because I think a lot if we go by the solar system, the majority of planet-sized bodies are moons around larger gas giants. So
All right. I think the biggest thing about the two new fighter models is that they are supposed to be able to perform a fold on their own. In 20-something years, we've gone from capital ship folding. Sorry, 20-something years? That's not right. We
Uh,
are, no, about 30 years. 30-something years, we've gone from capital ship folding to fighter craft folding. We're basically making X-Wings now.
it also shows that they, what once was mysterious technology, they continue to evolve and use it and got a better understanding of it. Like in Macross, they didn't know what. Well, in Zero and in Macross, they had no idea what they were dealing with, it was basically theoretical. And now they're like, no, yeah, actually, we can make the stuff, right? Which would, of course, make sense. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to make more ships, right?
One day
They'll
we
make
will
a
find
road.
out where SDF Macross's fold device went.
Yeah.
Folded, it vanished somewhere. Some Planet of the Apes scenario. Not Planet of the Apes, now I can't think of the name of the movie. Anyway, Monolith, apes throwing shit around.
2001.
2001. There's a 2001 situation happening with the fold device on some alien planet. Let's see. I understand that on meeting Newman tried putting Dyson in his place by trying to scare him with how the last four test pilots did. But on the other hand, as the design chief of the project that he's part of, saying all that kind of makes it seem like he's shit at his own job.
Yeah, I think what he wanted to put him in, yeah, both. It puts him on his place, like, yeah, I'm the boss here, and you're just a pilot, right? And because you people don't know how to follow instructions, this is what happened, right? But it backfires on him because, like, okay, sure, that means you had literally, that's what the song was saying. You had crappy pilots. I'm better,
Well, yeah, no,
you
I mean,
know.
he plays it up, whose child was this, basically, but
Yeah.
he's the design chief of the plane, right? He's designing the plane. So
Mhm.
you're saying my plane's killed four pilots isn't an insult to the new pilot. It feels more like an insult to yourself, to self
Yeah.
burn. So
But yeah, but he's speaking from the term of a nerd. Is like,
I
yeah,
understand. I'm just saying it
get
backfires on
good,
him.
basically. Yeah, it's a get good attitude, you know.
All right, I'm sending you another image. So Dyson's personal history. Yes, I've clipped all the screen montaging down into one image. He won the Roy Fokker Prize in 2037, 2038, and 2039, and then had them taken away in 2040 for reasons unlisted. By the way, hopefully I remember to put this on the screen. It doesn't fit because again, it's a larger cropped image, so hopefully in editing I have the scrolling past. I suppose the more interesting things are his convictions and career listings. He was convicted of a parking violation in 2035, the same year he was assigned to the UNN Enterprise, and only 18 days after he took part in the Delta War. He also evidently injured someone in 2037, only a few months after he joined the Earth Defense Force. I
It's
think,
interesting that he's part of the UN Air Force.
I mean,
Even
transfers, right?
yeah, even though they're all, I mean, what's his rank? Let me see: name, assignment, rank, first lieutenant. Although lieutenant is, I
Well,
don't
you
know what kind
also
of,
remember that he says he's fighting getting promoted because being promoted too much means he won't be able to fly.
yeah.
So we know he's trying to maintain a certain.
Also, might be interesting that perhaps the Earth Defense Force is a distinct branch of the larger UN Spacey, right?
Well, I mean, it might be
So
localized defense forces, right? If
yeah,
you're stationed on Echo, you're on part of the Echo Defense Force.
and also a lot of fighting. I mean, the
Yeah,
Delta War.
that's what I said.
Um,
He got a parking violation, and he was in the Delta War the same year.
but Ave Maria dispute, Hydra Civil War,
Well, you're never going to defeat Hydra. You cut one head off, and another one takes its place.
UN Revolution War, Planet Salvation War,
A lot of wars.
it, the Delta War too. I mean, these might be.
I
I
think
mean,
they're
that
just
means
somebody filling in space on the screen. Because once
true,
again, he
but
joined the UNN Enterprise. That's just a sci-fi guy doing some sci-fi shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But if it's taken as is, that means that the preceding 38 years have been 38, 28 years have been pretty violent.
Well, yeah, we had to go out there into space where the Zentradi are. Because, I mean, none of this, well, not all of it anyway, indicates it's all us fighting us. This could just be Zentradi combats. Like, god damn it, you remember how the Burgelman fleet came in and that's me making up names on the spot. Burgelman!
Yeah.
The Burgelman Zentradi fleet came in and we had to fight those off. That's thousand
Yeah,
something
probably.
ships. We're going to call that the Delta War.
Yeah, it could be.
Let's see. I think the thing that jumps out to me is what is missing. We know something happened between Dyson and Myung 7 years ago, 2033, but that'd be the year before he joined UN Spacey. Even so, nothing listed as a prior conviction from that time span either. So, whatever we saw in the possible SA was not a crime or was not denoted to him.
Also, crime of injury, chronic disease, Sitter pollen syndrome.
Yeah, he's allergic to pollen, like everybody
Oh,
else.
it's very interesting. His birth planet is Earth, but his domicile planet is Eden. So I guess he was born on Earth, and at some point his parents moved to Eden,
Well, no, it just
right?
means where he lives. His domicile, his house is on Eden.
Yeah,
This
but remember,
this
he
screenshot is taken. No, the screenshot is taken after he's already on Eden. Like he's already moved to Eden.
yeah, but remember the opening, and they later say on that he was in high school with Mion and Bowman,
Oh no, I
and
see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I follow you.
yeah,
That if
so-
this says he's from Earth, then they moved to Eden so that he could have grown up as childhood friends of everybody else. It's
yeah,
possible. With this much space travel, you got to think some people are like interstellar merchants or something,
probably that's what happened.
running away from many of the many wars that are happening in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Running away from that traffic ticket, whatever. Um, but yeah, no, like I said, I go into this later on. But yeah, I was looking for a possible SA charge against him. Because remember, that was my biggest problem with his character in the first episode that made me go crazy in the second episode. The thought that he had been a person like that and he's our main character. Don't worry, I've got more thoughts. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying that when I wrote that thought, that I was looking for it in that note, and if didn't find it there, I found it interesting. It may have influenced other thoughts.
Also, it's very interesting that his interest is girl hunt, and his special ability is reckless run.
I think Girl Hunt's probably a television show.
Probably.
I don't think they wrote
Also,
down like I'm a womanizer on his like own stat sheet. So I think
yeah,
it sounds like a TV show.
which probably sounds like a bikini competition or something,
Yeah,
or
like a
like
MTV Spring Break kind of television show.
or The Bachelor or something like that. But
I mean, this was written before any of those things, so
yeah.
from a country that they don't originate from either. All right, let's see. Despite the confusion about the fact that Zentradi are genetically so much like us, I think it was a definite choice to make it so their actions post-war in the original series were the result of a medical condition and not choice. The implication that Bowman needs to take drugs to inhibit his Zentradi tendencies implies that everything we went through after episode 27 of SDF Macross with them was not something that they had control over. And not knowing that, not something any of our characters could really have done anything about.
Yes and no, because I would argue. Well, it does have a dark undertone. Like, oh, the Centrati are always destined to be violent, right?
It certainly has a thing
Didn't
that I'm no
yeah,
longer going to crack jokes about.
genetic predisposition. On the other hand, it might be a genetic predisposition of the Centrati how they're built, but not necessarily something that all Centrati reflect,
They
right? It's
refer
just
to it
might,
as a Zentradi condition specifically.
yeah, but it might not be because we do again in the original series. We also see a lot of Centrati just peacefully coexisting, right? So it's
It could be a willpower
no,
thing.
yeah, or and we also see a lot of Centrati. The Centrati are never or rarely shown as being suicidal. That's one thing they never really shown to ask me.
Sim literally rammed a ship in a suicide run.
Yeah, but that's Quantum. Quantum is supposed to be this rebel, and he's the allied killer and all
The
that.
Metin leader also rammed it with him,
Yeah,
holding hands. Assumedly, there was
yeah,
a
but
whole crew of Zentradi on that ship as well.
that's the exception to the rule. In fact, anytime the Centrati were like, "Oh, we actually turned the tables on you," they're like, "Oh, we either surrender or they run." Like literally, when Max jumped out of into the ship and started firing, the Centrati just gave up and they just ran for cover, right?
So
So
your picture of the Zentradi is that they're aggressive cowards.
kind of. I mean, they're
Oh
not
man,
suicidal.
you're coming down hard on the side of all orcs are evil.
No, 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 no. I'm saying that in fact the opposite. I'm saying that while yes, there is might be a tendency because of their culture. I mean, their military culture to be aggressive. I don't know if it maps one to one that all Centrati are always going to be aggressive in this way.
Well, it's there's two options here. One, there's another Zentradi shows up in the show, and we get comparison. Or two, they don't carry this point forwards into future shows, in which case it's a negative either way.
Yeah.
For right now,
It,
100% of Zentradi on screen have to take medication to deal with their problem.
yeah, the problem is, well, he's half Centrati. Is actually he's not
Well,
full Centrati.
yeah, but again, they call it a Zentradi problem. Again, it's sample
Yeah,
size. The sample size I
yeah.
have is not a good
It's
research.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see here. Odd juxtaposition between Dyson and Bowman in episode 1, where Bowman looks up Dyson's record, and has to take drugs to suppress his desire to fight, versus Dyson not goofing around like his record would suggest, and actually reading up on the craft he's going to be piloting.
I mean, I think it's perspective. Bowman probably thought that he had it on the bag, right? Because all the crashes of the F-119, and he has a personal history with Bowman, right? So he's like, he's my rival. Where Isamu probably is like, there's no one that can beat me. I'm the best pilot there is. All I gotta know, I'm a professional, and I gotta do. If I know this craft, I have no problem, right? He's
It's the greatest insult of all, I think, right?
yeah.
That I think you are my greatest rival, and I'm spending all of my time thinking about you, and you're sitting over there doing your homework. Because to you,
Yeah,
I'm a nobody.
yeah. It's
The greatest insult is finding out that the thing you've built up in your mind all this time was just you.
it's the M Bison line of for you was the greatest day of your life. For me was a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I also just realized the biggest thing in all of my thoughts from episode 1 I've put down in my lingering questions area, which I would have thought I would have made it my first thing, but I have two lingering questions. I don't know why I didn't even do this for the second episode thoughts, but one, why does Bowman call Dyson a traitor? That is a very specific accusation. Also, traitor to what? All right, two, and this is the main point, which I think ruined the whole episode for me, and then this is me trying to take it back with realization later, after the fact. We have created a situation where the Zentradi are no longer fully responsible for their actions due to a medical situation. I blame Dyson for attempted, you know. Watching that flash again with that new context, is it not possible that we are seeing Bowman lash out as a result of his condition? That Dyson was protecting Myung from Bowman? It doesn't explain their relationship earlier in the episode, but looks increasingly plausible in hindsight.
That is a good question.
Because again, putting together the medical thing for Zentradi, but might be the reason that Myung is so forgiving of Bowman, while at the same time, because if we're explaining it away as an uncontrollable medical condition, we're not making it their fault. We're making it biology's fault. Like same thing for like I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to go into real
Yeah, yeah,
examples.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, what I was first seeing when I first watched the episode and reacted to it was I was thinking Bowman had come in to defend Myung against, you know, from Dyson because he's there. The clothes are torn. Everything it looks bad. But in a second viewing, when I'm taking all my notes, and with the context that Bowman has to take drugs to suppress his fighting instinct or whatever, the aggression of a Zentradi, that what if he didn't take his drugs one day and, lashed out? Like, and that's just Dyson defending Myung from that same position. There's many interpretations here, and it doesn't even have to read as SA.
Like I
So,
said, that's a very interesting question indeed.
right. So, like I said, I saw it the first time I watched it, reacted the way y'all saw me react to it, and I tinted both episodes back to back with I don't want to see this and I don't want to be tied to a main character who would do such a thing. And now it's like in hindsight, everything can be different. So that's my thoughts on episode 1. Episode 2 thoughts. I think all the times I was trying to figure out Sharon, the thing I wasn't doing was putting 2 and 2 together. I brought up how Sharon's brain model thing looked just like Bowman's brain model thing for his plane. In the first episode, we saw that whatever dark thought crossed his mind while hooked up to the device, the jet does, i.e., plowing Dyson's jet into the ground. Well, what dark thoughts are going through Myung's mind every time she sees her old acquaintances? Definitely in the concert, I feel like that was put on display. It's just that one of these things is in a fighter jet, the other is in a pop idol. They have different capabilities for accomplishing what's thought into them.
Yeah. Um, I mean, Sharon Apple definitely took a special interest in itself, right? Uh,
As connected to the emotional center of Young's brain, apparently. Because this is written obviously before the AI chip is delivered to, again, what I believe to be the instigator of everything bad that Marge, as his name turns out to be. Like I said, I brought up the fact that, hey, that looks like this thing. Hey, that to do this thing. I didn't say out loud the two things put together. So that's what that is. Let's see. 2 episodes in a row, the theme of the dead cannot be brought back to life has been tossed at us. First by Dyson in the simulation chamber in the first episode, and now the Colonel talking to Bowman in the second. If it comes up again in the third episode, I'm going to suspect Myung is going to die, and people might look to Sharon as some sort of replacement that never will be.
that's an interesting take.
Well, I don't know why you would repeat a very, very specific phrase that nobody would say normally on their own in 2 out of 4 episodes. But then again, the human mind is wired to look for connections and things. That's why conspiracy theorists, that's why you see tigers and bushes, whatever. Let's see.
It's the burning bush, man.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about you, but if I'm like in a public bathroom, I stare down at the tile and I see all sorts of shit. And then I call the janitor to come in and clean it up.
That's a good one.
Like I said, 5-year-old humor. I'm going backwards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The more I think about it, the funny it is. Smellier too, but yeah.
All right. Speaking of Sharon, we know that she is an incomplete AI and requires Myung to sub in to give her something that she lacks. That is, until Marge gets the top secret upgrade chip. It makes me wonder if that upgrade is going to let her tap into the new jet design that operates on a brain reading device almost exactly like hers. Especially since we've already seen her upgraded form controlling devices and calling outside lines. Plus, in the first episode, we saw it have an autonomous body that moved itself into place and get plugged in into the theater controls. If not that, then the fact that Newman is hacking Sharon and making a copy of her for himself on the base's computer system.
Which reminds me, Newman is a jackass.
Oh yeah, I mean he's trying to make a virtual slave if you think about it, because he's downloading a person that he thinks is a complete intelligence to
Mhm.
force to do what he wants. Not to mention the fact he's hacking the real version of it to force to do what he wants. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. Did you ever watch the movie Stealth?
No, because it was very silly. Yeah, but I know this one. It's two fighter planes, well, three fighter planes, and one of them is an AI and supposedly goes crazy, and they
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
try
Well, I
to put
mean,
it down.
basically the same concept here, but because we've
Yeah.
seen Sharon work outside of her own connected systems and call things, and the fact that Sharon's brain program is basically the exact same as the brain program system that operates the jet. It's everything is aligned to have Sharon control a jet. I don't know if that's where the show wants to go, but I'm just saying it's there. It would also make it, I don't know what the future of Macross has in store, but we could have just intelligent drone jets fighting our battles for us, assuming they don't go crazy because of ex-boyfriends or whatever.
My
Let's
God,
see.
you cheated on me! Die! Oh
Yeah,
crap!
yeah. Super ex-girlfriend comes to mind. Let's see. If the YF-21's control system is comparable to the tie-in to Sharon's AI that Myung does, then that means Sharon is likely just as culpable to stray thoughts. The same way Bowman visualized crashing Dyson's jet into the ground and it happened, Myung spotted Dyson in the crowd and her heart rate accelerated, which is when Sharon starts making out with Dyson. No doubt indicating that she was thinking, but not necessarily what she wanted.
Or what she wanted, but wasn't really thinking.
No, I think it has to be because the example we have from Bowman thinks about crashing Dyson's plane into the ground. He
But
doesn't
he didn't
want
want to
to
do
do
it.
it, yeah,
Want to
because
do it.
he expresses, she's like shock when it actually happens. So thought about it, didn't want it. So I have to think that's our example for Myung. Thought about making out with Dyson, didn't want to, or maybe she did want to. I'm just
I mean, it's a criminal mens rea actus rea. Criminal thought, criminal act.
right. I don't know. I don't. If I'm not watching Legal, then I don't know my Latin law. Let's see. My last thought here, and this is the one I literally said to you like right after we watched it. Not hearing it in Minmay's voice, I completely missed "My Boyfriend Is a Pilot" being sung. I was focused on the background showing what looked like rockets being launched, and me thinking about the backstory being presented before the song applying to the Unification War.
Yeah. I mean, I think those. Well, it's very brief, but it seems to be Myung is the one who's thinking about this, and she's looking at the rockets. It might be another colony fleet taking off, perhaps.
I don't know because those things are so huge. Plus, we saw what they look like taking off in Flashback 2012. They don't have
Yeah.
the jet plume thing going on.
Yeah.
That very clearly looked like a rocket launch because hell, the Valkyries don't do that either. So I don't know. The fact of the matter is, I putting it together in my head now. The what I took to be like destroyed or messed up bushes in front of the rocket launches also
Yeah.
kind of looks like the art for like destroyed infrastructure that they used during Do You Remember Love? So I don't
But
know.
they're in the 2040s. I don't think any of them is old enough to even being alive at 2012.
Well,
So
here's the thing: the SDF Macross is also in that flash background, not in that same scene. It's in the next scene. So
yeah. Yeah, but
and it
I think
looks
in that
like
sense, it's more like a monument, like it's the flashbacks and the screens behind them because this is a karaoke room. Seem to be like different locales, right? And one of them is like, oh, hey, here's the SDF-1. Like if you were in that situation, you saw the Eiffel Tower. It's like, oh well, that's not a rocket. That's the Eiffel Tower. It's a
no,
monument. It's a
I
thing.
think
Yeah.
this is more. Like I said, I was about to make the point that I don't think it looks the same as it probably should now because it looks
Uh
like it
huh.
did from SDF Macross. Like when the towns and cities are still being made, I'd assume with the
Yeah.
progress that's made here on Eden, that
Mhm.
that place should be like New York City by now, right? So that shouldn't look like that. So
Yeah.
that this is just a slideshow of the past, and they're singing
Perhaps.
singing with the landscape that would have been around when Min-May was singing the song. Um,
Probably.
Shit, I had another thought, but then I went through explaining my first thought. Damn it. Um, yeah, well, I'm gonna leave that there then. I can't remember where I was going. Shit. No. Anyway, those were all of my thoughts about the last two episodes because again, I had to go back to note take for not having missed anything. Was there anything that you wanted to bring up about the first two episodes before we get into episode 3?
Um, I like to say that the for the most part, compared, especially again to SDF1, is that this is an OVA and we've seen it in Zero. They've been very good at compacting the storytelling, right? Using the amount of time that they have and really having a good curve. Like it's not all action and it's not all, oh, hey, you remember me, you love me, whatever, right? Also, a point is that there seems to be that, in fact, Miyun and Bowman, yeah, Gold, slept together after the events, after the escape from.
Well, yeah, he explicitly says, like, in the first episode, he says, the woman and the plane will be mine, or the project,
Yeah,
the woman and the project will be mine. And the next time he sees him in episode 2, or sometime after he sees him in episode 2, he says, it's just the project now. So,
yeah,
he implies it himself.
yeah. Which is interesting considering that that red tinted back. I'm blanking on the flashback, not backflash. I say backflash, but it's flashback. Where there might have been some conflict between the three of them, and so that puts an interesting caveat on what you and I were thinking would happen in that
Like I
flashback.
said, the whole medical thing is what's changing my mind about things, or at least putting them in a different perspective.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, not in a perspective of, oh, that explains it, it's fine then. But more in a
Oh yeah.
perspective of why Myung is willing to disregard the past or reconsider. Like, she even goes on about things are different than they were before. Like, she has a whole point about making sure that everybody understands that everything has changed.
Yeah. Also, checking back with Isamu's, he was died. He was born in 2015. So currently he's age 24. So yeah, he was clearly born. That means that if they were all in the same class in high school, maybe one grade apart, something like that, maybe two at most, because high school only has like 4 grades and 5 at most, depending where you go and what you
He
think about
also
high
was
school.
never alive for SDF Macross.
Yeah, he was born after, and that means all of them were born after, right? They're the next generation, literally, uh, after the events of the
I
space
mean,
Space War
they
One.
are the next generation, and he was on the Enterprise.
The Enterprise.
No, no, is it 2 words on that
Two
one?
words. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. In my notes, I just wrote down Enterprise 1 word because I knew what they were
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, they would, I mean, they named one character Bowman and another one Dyson, so.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's it. Unless you have anything else you want to add.
Oop.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we should just go ahead and get on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I also didn't realize this one was a longer length episode. I was just mousing over the play button and I saw it says 41 minutes. I was like, whoa. It's an OVA. They can do whatever they want with the time.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the fire thing in the middle is the AI and the chains are what's holding the AI back.
Yeah.
Just looking for a visual interpretation. That's all I did the last 2 episodes. Oh, right. He got shot.
Well, no, he got
He
slammed
was
against the ground.
in the YF-19. It got shot by Bowman, who used
Yeah.
real ammunition.
2日も眠ってたのよ。
So this is the
Oh, I wish he was.
Macross version.
I wish he was just a head, and then they put him into the YF-21 as the control mechanism.
だってモーガンから基地で事故があったって、イサムが大変だって電話があって、仕事の途中だったけど、どうしても来いって言うから、ケイトとモーガンは夕べのうちに帰ったんだけど。
By the way, that's not a healing tank. That's just a bathtub. He was dirty.
あんたの最後を見とってやろうと。
Damn, that's that's a, well. I mean, there was a lot of dirt in there.
ちょっとバカなことしないで。普通の状態じゃないのよ。
ちょっと肩風。
ちょっとイサム。やめてったらイサム。お願い、死んじゃうわ。誰か。どうしました？ダイソーさん。
It took those things a while to go off.
ダイソーさん。
Well, it's when the moments start breaking.
No, I mean, like, he was up, and then they go off. An EKG will go start flashing at you the moment it stops making contact.
私は発砲していません。ガンポットの暴発による事故ではないでしょうか。
何？ YF19 のメンテナンスデータには実弾を装填したという記録はない。
How do you explain that?
ないのかね？
むしろ彼が私を撃とうとしていたのではないでしょうか。彼の行動が挑発的だったのは基地の人間ならば誰もが知っています。
It's a real hard tell. What are you accusing me of putting bullets, real bullets, into my opponent's gun?
彼にそんな芸当がむしろ君の得意とする分野じゃないのかね？
彼のチームには優秀なハッカーもいると聞いていますが。
その時点での脳波データの記録は？それが事件の直前からブランクに。ブランク？
脳波コントロールシステムが支障をきたしたため、マニュアルに切り替えました。
テストの総合評価では君の方が不利らしいじゃないか。ダイソン注意の容体は未だ意識不
That
明。
uniform.
ゴメス将軍、彼の証言を取るまでプロジェクトはストップしますか？ どうなのかね、ミラード君。個人的な開墾をもってするようなレベルの争いをテストに持ち込むパイロットたちではない。
Literally, it's been happening the whole fucking time. He doesn't care. Remember, he shredded evidence. Oh man, you need chapstick.
彼らパイロットは宇宙きっての自信家です。自分が怪我をしていても相手に勝つと思っている連中です。相手に怪我をさせることは彼らのプライドが許しません。
では、今回の事件の原因は何だというのかね？
それはおそらく、
弾薬管理プログラムの不備による実弾流出とそれに起因する暴発事故だな。管理プログラムの再チェックおよびインターフェースの整備終了後、プロジェクトスタッフは作業に戻ってくれたまえ。本会議は以上で解散する。
I mean, to be fair, there's a war going on, and we really need new X-Wings.
何か裏取引でもしようというんですか？
事故ではなく故意であったと認めるわけか。
認めるとあなたも偽証罪になりますね。
マクロス政府が唱えている信
I mean, unless I didn't know and you admitted to me in an elevator after the fact. In which case, you'd be guilty.
ゴメス将軍もそれを支持している。
New space order, huh?
そこに有人戦闘機は入っていない人間がパイロットが危険
Huh.
に利用され
Okay, I may have just brought that up in the pre-talk.
だが我々には必要なのだ。戦闘機もパイロットも特に君たちのような馬鹿げた呆れたパイロット
See, even that speech makes me think he sides with the YF-19.
はなぜ必要だ。
挑戦するためです。
寄り道してる時間はない。
Oh yeah, you know what my is? I'm thinking that that Bowman's plane is a YF-21, where in fact it's a YF-17 and YF-19.
No, Bowman's is
Right.
the YF-21, and
Yeah.
Dyson's is the YF-19.
テストパイロットなんて毛嫌いしてる将軍が
But Millard there sounded like he's like, we need pilots, we don't need automated drones. So it seems like he's on the YF-19 side, but why would he collude with Bowman? There's a lot of shit that don't make sense now.
信じらんない。勝手に痛がってなさい。相変わらず信じ
He
ら
got
れ
a
ない。
long neck.
何が
相変わらず
Look at it.
バカで無鉄砲。
That's like twice the size of a
Yeah.
normal
鉄
neck.
砲はいねえよ。おい、食えよ。
だってまずいんでしょ。
簡単に人を信じるなよ。自分で確かめてみないとわかんねえだろ。その苦さも自分で食って初めてわかるってもんだ。
He has the mentality of somebody that walks up to you and says, hey, smell this.
性格
え
昔からそうだったわ。知ってても教えてくれなくて、何でも自分で見てこいって。
古い地球のことわざにあるだろ。百聞は一見にしかずって。
忘れたの
I should know, I'm
こ
from
の
there.
森の向こうに翼竜の卵があったってイサムが言って、それを見に行かされた時、本当に死ぬかと思ったのよ。途中の沼がミツメヘビトカゲの巣だなんて、あなた一言も言わなかったじゃない。
そうだっけ。
そうよ。あの時ガイ
So
ドが
three-eyed
持ってなかっ
snakes?
たら、
利口なやつはちゃんと用意周到に鉄砲を持ってるもんさ。バカな無鉄砲と違ってな。用意周到か。嫌な言葉だ。
一体何があったの？猿も木から落ちたわけ？
お前には関係ねえよ。
何よ、人に心配させといて勝手ばっか。
頼んでねえだろ。お前はガルドの心配でもしてりゃいいんだ。歌やめたんだってな。それでシャロンのプロデューサーか。らしくねえよ。全然らしくねえよ。
ほんと、イサムは変わってないね。
So he's rallying against the past versus her. Keep going on about the past is different now.
7年前、いなくなったあの時の。
And finally we see the mysterious creature that we've been referring to for the last 2 episodes. Whose eggs we may or may not have found. I'm gonna say it now, I think Myung is the new Hikaru.
Really?
Emotionally. She's gripping every time every man comes next to her.
イサム、
You've got to see that she's acting emotionally the same way Hikaru acted every time Misa and Minmei showed up.
Yeah, going back and forth, ping pong between the two of them.
Yeah. Also, dick move leaving me out in the middle of nowhere. Also, the hospital's
Oh.
motorcycle.
I guess so.
Let's get the Red Cross on
Yeah.
the back. Thank God this is the only field in existence that has no rocks or bumps in it.
ゴースト X9 高機動加速率 9.75 ポイントに増大。期待値以上の数値を上げています。前期撃破まで 13.40 秒。ゴースト第2波補足攻撃態勢に入ります。
一体どこへ行ったって言うんだ。
You know, probably would be easier to make
お腹が空けば帰ってくるわよ。
missiles that can fold.
まったく何考えてんだ。
Yeah.
コンピューターにでも聞いてみたら。
Yeah, but they'll be one-shot weapons, by the way.
あいつ
Yeah.
の行動がコンピューターに読めるわけない
So, make them effective.
わかって
Give them a,
ああ
give
Probably
them a
won't be
payload.
effective.
こんなに振り回されなきゃ
Only effective against
あいつら
stationary targets.
もう何もかもめちゃくちゃ
Doesn't give you a lot of flexibility.
あなた最近
I don't know. We don't have any Centrati folding balls. So, take out the command ship, you take everything out. Also, he showed up with flowers, and obviously she's not here.
相変わらずの腰抜けだ。死ななかったしぶとさには敬服するがね。
何しにいらしたんですか？
お見舞いさ。
欲しいものを手に入れるためには何でもなさるようですけど、無駄ですよ。ルーシー。もうあなたには何も手に入らないわ。
I don't know what they can accuse anybody of. Like what? Bowman filled his gun with bullets so that he'd get shot by real bullets?
どういうことだ？
偶然だよ。偶然。
指一本触れるなと言ったはずだぞ。
やめて。
Not a good look if you get your ass kicked by somebody who was literally just hospitalized.
Oh.
So you think this was what it was? I can't ask you, you know. Audience member, do you think this is what it was?
あんたたちってバカみたい。どうしてそんなに熱くなるの？すぐムキになって夢中になって。
It's a medical condition.
Yeah, but he's talking about both of them.
私はもう夢中になれるものなんてないの。歌をやめて適当に生きてきた。楽だもの。うまくいかなくても言い訳できるもの。
逃げてだけじゃねえか。
イサムにはわからないわ。夢の中で生きてるようなイサムにはわかんないわよ。
Looks like a great sign that Sharon is watching.
シャロンはね、私の意志で動いてるの。私がやってるのはプロデューサー。
That's brilliant. Why didn't people make that for real?
I think they do.
I've never seen that.
人工知能なんてできてないのよ。くだらないおもちゃ。それなのに誰もが騙されてるわ。だって誰も気づかないじゃない、そんなこと。
And then you told everybody here.
真剣でもいい加減でも関係ないのよ。私にはもう見る夢も
I
ない
mean,
わ。
Newman already said, hey, a vital part of this thing is missing.
もう傷つきたくないの。浅はかな夢に裏切られて傷つくのはもうたくさんなのよ。二人とも普通の大人になってほしかった。会わない方がよかった。
ふざけんなよ。勝手にいじけたこと言って悲願でんじゃねえよ。傷つかない人生の方が綺麗事じゃないか。
Hey, Tenma would say the same thing.
信用しねえ。
It's a different show.
信用しねえ。 送るよ。
イサムは気づいていたわ。シャロンの歌があなたの歌だって気づいていたわ。
Why are you two still here?
一人で帰らせて。
I mean, Lucy maybe I understand, but Newman?
Well, remember Newman is obsessed with Sharon as well.
I know, but in the act of Isamu and Gold, in Myung, it's like, why? I don't know. Feels like such an awkward third man situation. Is that Marge?
I think so.
何してるの私の部屋で。
地球に戻ることになりました。明日にもエデンを立ちますので準備しておいてください。
ずいぶん急な話ね。
マクロスの統合本部から連絡がありましてね。宇宙大戦終結30周年記念式典でコンサートをしてほしいとの要請を受けました。
人工知能
That doesn't line up.
完成した。
Space War ended in 2009, didn't it?
No, well, unless they're celebrating 2012.
Well,
That's the
2012
actual
is
one.
3 years after, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 2009. It's the 21st anniversary at the end of the Space War. We can't turn the AI off.
Yeah, no, 2009 to 2019 will be 10 years.
Oh, it's
2019 to
2040, I
2020.
forgot.
Yeah, 2040.
So, 31 years.
プログラムは
So is it going off the last time it read her brain when she was infatuated with Isamu at the concert, and then she got upgraded, so now that's her only emotional response?
Seems to be.
There's no way they let him in the jet in... This has to be simulator or a dream.
I mean, yeah, he couldn't take...
ギリギリの瞬間か
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a simulator.
The simulator is also the only one that says crushed instead of crashed. So I'm pretty sure it's designed for a simulator. I don't know why it smokes on the outside. He can't see that.
Probably some kind of cooling system, perhaps?
Well, it's also designed that it's able to smash into the ground, the real ground.
だってさ、またいつ来れるかわかんないじゃない。いつ会えるか、イサムもガルドも、またどんな事故に遭うか。
ゲート、ユン。
あ。
よ。
遅いじゃな
Oh,
い。
there's gold.
ちょっとな。
あれ、イサムは？
来ねんだよ、あいつ。
また。ちゃんと伝えたんでしょ？
ああ。
You got it right at chest level. Yeah.
おい、じゃあ何？また連絡すっから。じゃあ。
I'm sorry.
like the fashions.
I'm on my trip to Victorian England. I'll be right back.
私、嫌な女よね。
来週プロジェクトの最終テストがあるんだ。それまで君がエデンにいてくれればよかったが、だから俺が行く。プロジェクトをものにして君を地球まで迎えに行く。そばにいてほしい。
I guess in some respect, Bowman did kind of move on. He is a private contractor. He didn't like...
Yeah.
君を守るためにある。多分ずっと昔から。これを俺のお守りさ。今度会う時まで君に預けるよ。
私 今はまだ。
I think my problem is that I'm trying to recontextualize their every time they're together, their relationship status with the flashback.
ありがとう。
I don't know the reality of it, but I would assume if it was my first thought, I would need more than 7 years to get over that. But if it was just them fighting one another, and for some reason she got like right in the middle of it,
I like the fact that she has earbuds in 1992. I mean, I probably wireless MP3 players didn't exist, but
no, we were still Walkman. That was 90s was the
Yeah.
Walkman era.
yeah.
As somebody
I
who
do
used
like the
my
fact
Walkman to record stereos, yes, I remember
Yeah.
it.
I like that this is the ship that's going to take her to space. It's actually a ship.
No, you know, get a lot of that in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, where they have water ports where spaceships also come in and land.
You know, we also have airports that serve as spaceports. So, but we have anti-gravity and large ships. It makes sense to displace the ships on water rather than on land. Mind you, this is a show that also has giant robots and 2 legs, so yeah, there's that.
Yeah, the thing that Gundam creators said that they actually looked into trying to make and discovered was impossible. That's why Gundams were always meant to fight in space, where they would only logically exist.
But in space, you don't need. Do you really need legs
No.
like that?
No, but the idea is that the physics of it also doesn't work in gravity. So, space is the only place that they can physically work.
鉄のノズルの反応速度もうちょっと上がんない？
これでも随分上げてんですけどね。いきなり無茶しないでくださいよ。最終テスト前にまた事故ったりしたらシャレになんないですからね。
心配ねえよ。俺の体飛べば治るよう
I
に。
mean, he's already survived longer than your last 4 pilots.
だよな。
ちょっと。
さて、もう一度かましてくっかな。どういうことですか？なんでいきなりプロジェクト中止なんですか？カイサ
Sorry, is that a Nazi astronaut in your background?
どういうことでしょうか。
納得いかねえな。
It really looks like one.
関係ねえよ。
イサム。
将軍からも解散命令が出た。
将軍？くそ。
地球で極秘に開発されていた無人戦闘機が完成したのだ。
無人戦闘機？
人工知能搭載のゴースト X9 に今回の採用が決まったそうだ。君たちの解任後の処遇に
I always get so happy when I'm prophetic about such things. We spent the whole pre-show discussion talking about it.
将軍は初めからこのことを知ってたんですね。初めから共謀してたんですね。
だからあの事故もあんなに簡単に。
I guess it also explains why he was even remotely supporting the YF-21. Because the YF-21 is still human-controlled, and he's about human control, whatever.
いい加減にせんか。地球で開かれる記念式典での発表が決まった。見苦しい真似はするな。挑戦は終わったんだ。
So we're gonna head to Earth, following Myung. Have a competition there. Have the Macross be in the background so we can legitimately call this Macross.
彼女、ミュンさん地球へ帰ったわ。今朝の宇宙便で。昨日電話があったの。彼女の友達から。私、教えたくなかった。
そっか。
そんな権利。 なかったよね。イサムはいつでも自由だもんね。
This is a weird sentence to run off on.
Well, at least he's able to talk to him and say, "Hey, this is where we stand, right? I know that you're not in love with me, so I'm
Well,
not
yeah, I
gonna
just mean it
force it."
seems like the line to start a confession on, right? Not to run away with. I mean, I think he makes a better pair with Lucy anyway. Because she's like down for his thrill-seeking ways. Remember the motorcycle road trip thing we did, episode 1?
Yeah, but it seemed to me it seemed that he was. What's also interesting that this was released at the 30th anniversary. Was it the 30th anniversary of Macross? Let me see. No, I think that was.
I guess they consider the
Frontier.
I guess they consider the Space War to have ended a year after the show did, or a year after the destruction of Earth.
No, okay, no. The actual 30th anniversary of the show is much later.
Oh, I thought Macross Lake would actually have Macross in it.
いえ
当然の現象ですよ。もうすぐ夢が実現されるのです。
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that guy is just the bad guy. There we go. Looks like nobody's polished it in a while, though. Still seems to be powering the city, too. It's gonna have a skull on it. There's gonna be a skull on this jet. Should not have a camera in that room.
Yeah, no.
That was sexual assault, by the way.
At least sexual harassment.
I think it's the same thing now.
I
It's
don't
physical
wanna debate.
contact in a sexual manner, which is assault.
Yeah, I don't want to debate the specifics of it. No. I just don't.
So are you telling me that our watch through of CSI is not going to happen? I would think that would lock you out completely. Well, never mind. I guess the magnetic seal on the door is very weak. Sitting in the dark, waiting for you. What?
だいたいブランケット丸めるなんて300年くらい古い手ですよ。
お前、監視してやがったの。
Yeah, I hacked the bathroom camera.
遅らせてあるだけです。急がないと。
ああ、そうか。何言ってんだよ、おめえは。
地球の式典に乗り込んでいってゴーストに一泡吹かせてやろってんでしょ。超空間ブースターもつけときました。僕はソフトスリープしてますから地球絶対防衛圏に入る前に起こしてくださいね。
バカ野郎、ガキなんか連れて行けっか。おい、こんな掟破りがバレたらな、死刑だぞ。
どっちにしろ逃亡協力で捕まりますよ。
足手まといなんだよ。
あなた一人の YF。
It's a real dumb move to choke out the person who's literally controlling the security system right now. Ouch. I gotta feel like that would hurt Isamu more.
More, yeah. Well, he does have a hard head either way.
Yes, sir.
They folded in the hangar? Come on, man.
No.
Oh, I thought that's what the explosion was. Everything around it being destroyed.
まさかあいつ追撃ミサイル多数接近中。逃げは
頭打てるか。ホールドで逃げ切れ。
了解。ホールドシステム1回まで5、4、3、2、1、0。
Well, new colors to the fold, I guess.
ダメです。すでにフォールドしています。現容器による追撃は不可能です。追撃できるのは YF21 しかありません。
ボーマンに出動を要請してくれ。
しかしテスト機に民間人では。
責任は私が取る。なんてこと。
Okay, they were liver spots. Never mind. When I saw how chapped up his face was during the meeting earlier, I was like, God, this guy's been through something. It's like radiation burns or something. No, it's just really old.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think I mentioned this even in a flashback. They repaired the top struts on the Macross.
これからは人工知能の時代だ。人間のすべてを吸収し、その上で永遠である。この式典にふさわしいゲストを招待できて、私も嬉しいよ。光栄です。シャロンアップルの人工知能が完成に及ぶ。
I wonder if we're gonna get a plot point about the protoculture not creating AI or something.
マイクロチップ。
そろそろ準備に。
コンサートの成功を祈っとるよ。では。
Oh, he doesn't know. Oops.
Well, yeah, no, it was like an underhanded deal.
Yeah. Yeah, but the
Also,
general
this
thought
is
that
new.
he knew.
This is new too.
Yeah.
We're treating a fold like a wormhole. Before it was just boom boom. Oh no, never mind. Actually, there was the whole with the Centrati chip traveled. Yeah, we were like
it took a while.
Feels like
for
we're
them.
folding.
Yeah.
We just never saw from the outside.
形としてはいていただいた方が。
形として。
Or
マージはどこ？
どういうこと？
a margin.
最高司令がなぜシャロンの人工知能の未完成を？マイクロチップ？何のことだ？
バイオニューロチップです。
I literally bought it from the
シャロ
military.
ンは自分で学ぶことを身につけました。
非合法もいいところだ。あれは自己保存本能を含んだ恐ろしい代物じゃないか。
That's weird.
したらどんなことに？
予測不可能の意志。それこそまさに我々の求めていたシャロンじゃないですか。
So technically, they've already had advanced AI and outlawed it off screen.
今すぐチップを回収する。
So you were trying to gaslight me by the manager guy not showing up anymore.
ここはもうじきあなたの死を気にする者もいない街になるんです。シャロンしか見えない。シャロンの声しか聞こえ
I
ない。
mean, I gotta be fair. If we were playing like a cyberpunk game or something, I would be Marge in this scenario. You gotta get my AI out there somehow.
Run.
That's what happens when you fail the initiative roll. They act first, and they run all their speed, and you don't know what's going on.
I don't know if I like the maroon color of those uniforms. It looks a bit too drab. I prefer the blue.
I don't know. They're not dressed like they were originally, so I'm happy. I'm happy that at least something changed in 30 years.
どうしてこんな。
And we also did see Sharon's mobile unit walking around again, too.
地球人類とセントラーディ人が手と手を携え。
誰か助けて。
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up in the notes. That when the original Sharon plugged herself in, the wires just floated up into the air and plugged them in. like technokinetics or whatever it's called. I know you're hanging from the air and I'm literally strangling you with cable right now, but you don't need to worry. Because I'm you and I know you're into this.
Oh wow, the symbolism. No, nothing to see here.
シャロン。あなたはもう何もしなくて。どういうこと？答えて。
Yeah, exactly. Stop with the long pauses. And less censorable material, please.
私はあなたから生まれたの。そしてもう違う私として生きているの。
Look at the arms.
何を言ってるの？
Of the Macross?
Yeah. They're not the carriers. They're from the movie. They're armed.
Well, to be
Armed.
fair, though, those were carriers, too. Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
the
know.
space carriers.
I'm not happy with that.
やめて。
To be fair, the Armed 1 and 2 got destroyed 3 times now. They don't deserve to be the arms.
ショーが始まるわ。
Alright, well, one assumes that she locked up Myung for her own safety, so something horrible is about to happen. Alright, also not where I thought we were going to get left off. To be fair, though, it is a good cliffhanger for, you know, whatever the hell's about to happen. Again, I have to assume that she trapped Myung in the former control chamber to keep her safe from whatever is about to happen.
Also notice that they're aboard the SDF-1.
Well, they're not aboard it, they're in front of it.
No. They're in it.
Well, I didn't think they're in it, because that's the same control chamber layout that they had on Eden, which means it's just a mobile place that they're moving around. Either way, that's not even the focus. I mean, if you're saying she's going to take control of SDF-1, I was going the other way, thinking that she's going to take over the Ghost drones, the X-9s. Because literally it seems like that's what's being set up. What I thought for the YF-21, but for the X-9s instead. Makes more sense in my head that she would have taken over the YF-21, but apparently, you know.
I mean, it'd be easier to take over an AI system already existing.
Well, no, because the YF-21 has a brain read system that's exactly like the brain layout of her own program. So it'd be literally like a one-for-one substitution. Not even a substitution, it'd be a blank spot that's literally form-fitted for your program. That's what I'm saying, it's one-for-one. Literally, it feels like she could move her control center into the YF-21, and if she has a mobile platform that can fold and then control a fleet of drones, too. Assumedly, I'm going to guess the drones can fold, but I don't know. She could be on her own mobile fleet. A threat to everyone. Well, assumedly she knows more about humans than the Centrati, so, you know, not really that much of a threat to the Centrati.
I do love the music.
I was literally just about to say, I think I've indicated before, not my favorite music.
Oh, man. I actually love the entire...
I know, you said you bought the album. Yeah.
The 2 soundtracks, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what it was. You said you bought it before when we started the first episode. I mean, it's alright. It's not like... I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not like what I would go out to listen to on my own. Like, if I'm on YouTube and if I want a soundtrack or something to listen to while I'm doing something, not gonna be this. However, if I was like in a doctor's office waiting room and this is playing, I'm not like gonna complain.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting setup. Yeah.
I have spent a surprising amount of time in doctor's
Oh no,
offices and whatnot.
I believe you. It's just that was like, yeah, if I'm trapped in hell waiting for the devil, I might as well listen to his music.
Oh no, I'm not like equating doctor's offices to that sort of thing. I'm just saying that like I prefer like the doctor's offices that play classic rock and things like that
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
the ones that play weird inspirational music or local radio, you know.
I
So,
hate the ones where they have the local soap opera on. It's like, ugh.
see, I had no problem with that because I think I've told you before that when I used to work at a warehouse, I would take my breaks at a gas station nearby, and on their TVs sometimes they would have a soap opera or whatever. And it's like it's better than the news. I don't want to. Honestly, I'm better off not knowing what's happening in the world because it's all horrible all the time. Nobody does like happy pieces like, "Hey, look at a kitten," you know. So yeah, I watch some soap operas on lunchtime. So obviously can't keep up with the story when you're watching for 20 minutes a week or whatever.
I don't. Not my favorite. It's the same reason why I don't like wrestling.
I mean, I grew up liking wrestling. Obviously, I didn't watch it since the
Yeah.
turn of the century.
Yeah. No, I mean, everybody my age was like, "Oh, wrestling's the best." And I was like, I don't get it. And now I know why.
I mean, to be fair, I think it just lump it in like the same category as like Sentai, right? Like Power Rangers, whatever. It's just two groups of people fighting. It's like every show that we watch. What's the difference between this and wrestling? It's just Gould and Isamu fighting.
Yeah.
And wrestling these days has so much story wrapped around it. I can imagine a whole wrestling event where every time a wrestling match is done, we go to the camera in the back room, and it's just like Gold gets talking to somebody about their history together with Byung, and then what's this? Isamu's marching down the hall because he's upset about something he heard, and now they're fighting in the hallway.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much shit you could just probably turn in to the WWF now.
Well, WWE, because
right. See, I started with WCW, so that was me even trying to change that to timely. So
I will say though, I did see back in the day the WCW wrestlers, and I didn't realize how tall they were and how massive they were. And that's a moment I went like, okay, these guys wrestling might be fake, but what they have to do every night to put on a good show, that takes an enormous amount of talent, and I do respect that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I read Hulk Hogan's biography. Obviously, that's not going to play well with age, but back then he would go on about how you had to get trained to do actual wrestling before you could then do wrestling. You know, fake. Which we all know wrestling's fake. Maybe back in the '90s and before we didn't really, but we all know that wrestling is fake. Yeah, so yeah, you have to learn to do the real moves so you can do the fake moves properly, and also not break some bones while you're trying to do a fake move.
It's like being a good stuntman, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like how Hulk Hogan ripped his back out lifting up Andre the Giant.
Yes, yeah.
And how he's dealt with a lifetime of bad knees from all the shit that he's done. I think the thing they say he's got no, what's the stuff between your bones called? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Cartilage?
Yeah, he's got no cartilage between his knee bones. So he's constantly getting surgeries and stuff done on them.
Damn.
So yeah, for all the shit that you thought was dumb, this dude's killing himself to get. So yeah, it's all about what you're worth. I mean, not what you're worth, what you're willing to do for what you. I don't know. I would say enjoy, but more like maybe have to do.
Which kind of ties in with what we were last scene, where Isamu goes half cocked, well, fully cocked, I suppose, because he's loaded for bear to try to show off the X9, right? To show who's a better pilot.
Well, it also implies, I guess, that he was not prepared to steal the YF-19 by the fact that if Newman hadn't hacked the security system, that anybody would have seen him coming.
Yeah. Well, I think he was confident enough, self-confident enough that he would make it, and that he was
right. Well, that's again dutiful.
He would have been arrested.
That wasn't the word. Not dutiful. What was the word? Prudent. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
He
He
wasn't
had no
prudent.
prudent. No. He had no
that-
prudent.
Wait.
Not even using the word right.
Prudence.
He was imprudent. Is the point?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is the whole discussion that he had with Myung about. It's like, yeah, you always go and try to do things, but you don't really think about the consequences.
Right. Which I don't know. I understand why people might like a character like that, but it's just like obviously not my kind of character in this aspect. But at the same time, I'm not with Bowman either. Bowman has those aspects, but his personality is also one that I'm not down for, like, enjoying as a character. I mean, I don't dislike him as a character. It's not what I meant to say.
I mean, he's
As
possessive.
A
One of the things I don't
primary
like is-
character.
Yeah, he's possessive. Like, oh, I'm gonna have the project and I'm gonna have her. It's like, dude, she's a person. She's a human being.
Yeah, I guess it's that, one, 90s feel, but also probably from a storyline written in the 80s. So, I don't know. I know that I'm coming off as it was a different time, but in media at that time, that was still kind of how things were being handled.
But that's the thing that Isamu and what's her name? Oh, she's in the board. Lucy McMillan. They both act more mature, right?
Do they?
McMillan's like, yeah. Okay, McMillan doesn't give her the message that he should have given to him, right? So but then he says, you know what? You don't belong to anybody, right?
I mean, again, that felt more like the romance start line. You don't belong to anybody. Now here we list off the reasons why we should be together. It sounds like the counter argument to why she doesn't want him to wind up with Myung, but her instead. You know? Your past doesn't define you. Just because you've got these 7 years between you of whatever happened back then, you don't belong to anybody. You can be with somebody else.
But it came out as she understanding that
because she ran away. That didn't make any sense to me. Everyone in this show does something that I think is going to lead to something else, and then does something completely opposite. Which is my difficulty with the characters. I think my problem might lie with the fact that I didn't watch much shit in the 90s. Right? So, I am distant from that source of media.
Well, and he doesn't do the thing where he chases after her back, confirming the fact that he's not. I mean, he's not. The whole situation was like, oh, hey, she's pretty, and I want to be with somebody, so here, honey. But he wasn't never really serious about her.
Yeah, no, it's a fling.
The fling, but he never was also disrespectful to her. Not really. It was that
moment when he tried to shove her head into an oil tanker as it's going by. Completely respectful. I do this with the utmost dignity. Hope you don't put your face into it.
Did he do that?
Yeah, when the motorcycle.
When did he do that?
First episode, when they're going down the road, and she's like, I don't want to commit double suicide. And then he immediately speeds forwards, leans hard against the the oil tanker that's going by, and they're like this far, and she's screaming. And then after the fact, she seemed to enjoy it, but I don't think you need consent after the fact. Otherwise, a lot of crimes would... Look, my jokes are going hard these days. I'm trying to pull back.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that one. I thought that he just like slammed her head into something.
No. The implication was if he was a little less careful, a little less imprudent, if one might say, that,
he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he wouldn't do such things, or he wouldn't do such things without warning. Like, he didn't even give you hey, you better hang on! It was just cranked up. She could have fallen backwards into traffic if she was not holding on as hard as she was. I'm just saying.
It's part of his nature is like, act first, think later, right? And he doesn't think about the consequences of his actions, only what he wants. He wants to do this. And I think that's the reason why he's so angry at Myung, because it's like, oh, you wanted to sing. Why didn't you sing? That's what you wanted. I don't get this whole thing about I'm not excusing it. I'm just trying to understand it, right, and explain it.
Well, she's giving a whole everything changed after that, and here's the reasons why things will never be the same. And most of the time, I feel like in most shows, the train of thought would be, understanding what's going on here and the relationships between the characters. And Isamu is, fuck that. I don't give a shit about what you just said. Here's the reasons why you're wrong, and here's the reasons why I live my life the way I live it. Right? So he's going against the grain of conventional narrative wisdom about scenes like this. And I am sure for people that like that character that that's fine. But imagine that you are in the worst situation of your life and somebody is approaching you with this style of advice. Like, fuck you, stop crying. What's your problem? You know, it's like, that's not the word. It's not what you need. I don't understand why these people are friends. Well, they're clearly not anymore. I don't understand why these people were friends. But then again, we don't spend a lot of time on flashbacks, except for one weirdly inappropriate one. I don't know.
I think that the reason why Samway's trying to find something, he's missing something, right? He's missing
a conscience,
something to fight for and to live for.
A sense of stability.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want that though. Here's the problem. Dude just stole a top secret fighter jet from a military base, and expects what to happen? Clearly,
no, he knows he's gonna get court-martialed. He just said so.
No, his life is ruined. So what's the point?
He wants to prove himself, basically.
To what end? After you're done proving yourself, spend your life in jail? Rikers, is that it? Well, no, Rikers got blown up in 2012. No, 2009. Yeah. 2009. 2009, as more people would say.
Yeah.
It's also funny, I guess, now to discover that a year after the war ended, we declared the war was over. So maybe, well, no, I would say maybe maybe the Zentradi kept fighting, the remnants of the Zentradi kept fighting for an extra year, and then the war was over?
Perhaps, or, you have the formal declaration. It's like the declaration of the end of a war, right? Basically takes time to do that.
Sure, Britai held up things for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to fight with you, but now.
Yeah.
But now you're imaged, and we still got 1,000 ships, and you're one ship. I think maybe your culture belongs to us. All your base, as they say. I don't know. I think it's an interesting conceit that even though we saw that the war happened in 2009, and we say the war, it was literally just effectively one battle.
I mean, there were multiple battles with the SDF-1.
Well, there was no declaration of war, though.
Yeah, never. I mean, the fact that it's called Space War is after the fact, right? Like calling World War I after the fact, right? Oh, what happened? It was the first time humanity had a war in space, so let's call it Space War I, right?
Right. I just mean that. Well, we got a date for it. Is my point. And before then, I would have just assumed that 2009 is when the war ended, because who else are we fighting, right? But then again, how can we ever be done fighting the Zentradi? This OVA started with us fighting Zentradi. So clearly we're still fighting them. And at what point do you say the war is over if the galaxy is filled with thousands of different fleets? And every one of them is Zentradi, and every one of them is going to want to destroy you. At that point, why would you even populate new worlds?
To guarantee your survival.
No! The Zentradi destroy worlds like that! The movie didn't even think it was worth putting on screen! You literally make more Macrosses, and then put all the people in those. At least have your population in, like, battle cruisers that can defend themselves.
I mean, you spread them out because you need food and water and all that. You need those resources. If they destroy the only source of food and water you have, eventually, you're going to die.
Biodomes, man. This is the 90s. We still think that shit works.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's...
Polyshore in one of those things, we're good.
No, I think spreading across the galaxy was the thing.
No, I'm not arguing it's spreading across the galaxy. I'm just saying put all your population into Macross units across the galaxy. I would never feel safe being on a planet knowing that in 30 seconds this whole Zentradi fleet could just appear overhead and we're all dead. Billions of people.
Well, I think they significantly weakened the Zentradi because it doesn't seem like they're fighting like major battles and like that.
I think it was heavily implied that Golg led one fleet.
Yeah,
Golg's
it wasn't
fleet, yeah, and then there's many Zentradi fleets out there.
Yeah, but that was a 4 million.
Yeah, and we don't know what the average
Guys.
was. Golg could have had a small fleet. Golg could have a large fleet. Golg could have an average fleet. We don't know where in the realm of sizes he fell into. So the fact that there's thousands more of possibly millions each fleets, I would have the deepest fucking bunker. I'd be like, how much are they selling Alaskan base for? Me and all of my descendants are gonna have a new place to live. I don't care if you take out all the super weaponry. It was deep enough to survive one blast. I'll take another one, please.
Yeah, but I guess this is an extrapolation with very little data besides what we see in SCF matches.
I'm saying the goal of everybody to live on the surface. Like, after that happened, we should have, like, planetary bunkers at this point. I don't know. It just seems great. It's the world building that I would do if I was considering, okay, one day the planet got destroyed in seconds after an alien invasion. Everybody now lives underground because nobody trusts to live on the surface. Crazy people live on the surface. I would do what Macross did with the men and women thing, but I would do it with like a society thing. That there's two different societies. We have the people who live underground because they went all survival instinct after Space War 1, and we have the crazy people who live on the surface who just Isamus, basically. Isamus all over the surface of the planet. Alright, well, you have any final thoughts on this episode?
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Okay. Well, I think that's been us for today. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, we've been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?